or else they're going to try to destroy your life. New York's about to have more business owners leave there. A lot of people I'm talking to who have stayed there asking. There's even people saying, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here, because if it's just a show, circus show, I'm staying. It's not a big deal. But if they go here, I have to leave because I may be risked 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Number 2, polls reacting positively towards DJT's favor. Americans are not dumb. What the left hopes this will do will shockingly surprise them. Future looks bright, but at the same time, stay extremely paranoid.
We all know that Donald Trump has been found guilty on all 34 felony counts that he was charged with in the New York criminal trial. But Patrick Bet-David and people like him are revealing some very, very interesting things about this trial that I don't think a lot of people know. A lot of you might, watching this might know because you keep up with this stuff quite a bit. But he reveals some things that I don't think a lot of people even watching this video would know. And he also just goes on a very good rant in general. Some things that I think a lot of people need to hear. And hopefully they actually take Patrick Bet-David's words and Valuetainment's words that they're all saying on this panel, and they actually put these things to action. Let's check out what Patrick Bet-David had to say about the Donald Trump trial and the fact that Donald Trump was found guilty on 34 counts. Let's listen in to Patrick Bet-David here.
So less than an hour ago, or about an hour ago, Trump found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. This is related to the $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels by his then personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, before the 2016 election. Cohen testified during the trial that Trump directed him to pay Daniels in the 2016. Obviously, we know what happened with Cohen. Trump's the first former U.S. president to be charged with a crime. If you notice in a marketplace, what is very consistent with what everybody is tweeting, they're using the same exact phrase by everybody. Convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon. Remember Russia collusion, remember convicted felon, remember,
Russian asset,
racist, remember all this stuff. This is the new 2 words. So we're learning English with these guys on how they're handling it, at least maybe for me as EFL guy, English as a 5th language. The next 2 words that's going to be popular the next 5 months will be convicted felon. At the debate.
And by the way, these people that are saying, oh, Donald Trump's a convicted felon now, like Patrick Bet-David's talking about here, and they keep using that word over and over again, that phrase over and over again, trying to just, obviously they're trying to make Donald Trump's name synonymous with the words convicted felon. They never cared about that whenever it comes to other things that actually fit their narrative, like the George Floyd situation. He's a convicted felon, and they got on their knees and worshiped the guy. And he did nothing positive. He was literally a convicted felon and then a drug addict until the moment that he died. That's it. At least Donald Trump is trying to positively contribute to society. Whether or not he's doing that in the way that you like, or whether or not he's doing that at all, is up to your interpretation. But at least he's attempting to do it. At least he's trying to do things. And, the people who support him are trying to do things that benefit the country and the world in his eyes and his supporters' eyes. George Floyd was just like a drug addict, and that's it. He was just a convicted felon, and that's it. And they worshiped the guy. They made statues of him, painted murals of him and stuff. So I don't know why that, I think Donald Trump, the best thing Donald Trump could do is just lean into the convicted felon thing. Just make it cool to be a convicted felon. That's the best thing that he could do. And if he did that, I think he would win, as long as there's no foul play.
Everywhere. Watch this. Potential jail sentence, 4 years per each count. However, Trump could serve the sentence concurrently rather than consecutively, so he could be looking at 4 or 136 years in jail. According to CNN Judge Merchant, denied Trump's move for an acquittal and set a sentencing hearing for July 11th at 10 a.m. 4 days before the RNC in Milwaukee. Trump remains free without trial. The 12-member jury deliberated less than 10 hours over 2 days before sending out a note to Judge Merchant saying they've reached a verdict. Before the announcement, Trump, his lawyers, prosecutors expected the jury to be dismissed for the day at 4:30. Trump faces 3 more pending criminal cases. In 2 of these cases, Trump is charged with criminal related to his efforts to overturn his 2020 election. That's one. One of these cases is a federal court in D.C., the others in Georgia and Atlanta. Trump is charged with federal court in Florida with crimes related to his retention of classified government records after he left the White House in January.
By the way, let me know in the comments, are any of you surprised that this happened to Donald Trump? Personally, I'm not really surprised. And it's crazy to say that because this is a historic moment. Like Patrick Bet-David just said earlier, this has never happened to a former president before. There's never been, a former president has never been convicted, of felonies before. So we should be surprised. And yet it doesn't seem like anybody really is. And this isn't really moving the needle for anyone to go against Donald Trump. Like nobody's saying, oh, because you're a convicted felon, I'm not going to be able to vote for you anymore. Nobody's really saying that, dude. It's just a really desperate attempt. And it's just wild that we're not surprised at a very, very large moment in history.
January 2021. He also faces a civil judgment in Manhattan court, which we know that about $450 million. Also a couple other for E. Jean Carroll. And he's obviously appealing the verdicts in the 3 civil cases. Let me share with you what he said when he got out of court. Rob, if you can play that clip. This is him right after he left the court. Go forward.
Are you worried about going to jail?
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Yes.
And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent.
If you enjoy content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
I think it's just a disgrace, and we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now, from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists. And they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one, with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Listen.
Why should voters vote for a convicted felon?
Bingo. No, listen, back up. It's important because this is telling you what their game plan is going to be. Listen very carefully, folks. Go ahead.
Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for a convicted felon?
Are you going to drop out?
Okay, pause it. Why should voters vote for a convicted felon? Just remember, that was the first question. Whoever she represented, that voice, that's what they're going to be going with the next 4.5, 5 months. Okay, so brace for impact. That's what we're hearing. Now go to the market. Let's see what some people are saying. Rob, start off with the people on the left and go to some people on the right, whoever you have. So, okay, Keith Olbermann, bingo. Obviously, he's...
Of course, they're going to go with that narrative, but their morals just flip-flop all the time. What I want to implore everyone to do, and not that I'm some, like, super wise old man or something that can just see through everybody's lies and deception, but I've been caught up in these lies before, so that's why I want to show you this is what's happening. Every single election cycle, everyone's morals just flip. These people have no morals, no principles, and they use no logic when it comes to making these statements. All they care about is more power, getting reelected. That's it. So, and this goes for both sides, by the way, right, left. The only one who's kind of like an outlier in this, and just a little bit, he's not completely an outlier, but Donald Trump. He's because he's not a straight up politician, but he's not a complete outlier. He's done this too, where his stances on certain things will change just to get him reelected. But think back to 2020, everybody was saying Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, AOC, everybody was saying, oh, you should vote for Joe Biden because Donald Trump is pushing this jab that's experimental and it's going to harm people if people take this jab and all this stuff. They were saying that about Donald Trump, about the conservative, the right wing, the Republican president. Joe Biden gets elected, and unless you take the jab, after that point, unless you take the jab, you're killing grandmas and stuff. And they basically made it almost illegal to not have it. And that's just how quickly things can, with the snap of a finger, someone's entire stance, morals, principles, everything can flip like a switch. as soon as they get what they want or as soon as they don't get what they want. Same thing goes for 2016. Everybody was saying, there's Russia collusion. Hillary Clinton came out after Donald Trump won and said it was a rigged election. And everybody on the right was saying, oh, no, the elections aren't rigged. There's no chance that there was Russia collusion, all of this stuff. 2020, Trump loses. Everybody on the right saying the election was rigged. And whether it was or not, I'm not here to say. I'm just saying everybody's morals and principles and the way that they decipher things in the real time changes so much based on what they want to happen. So on both sides, just be aware of this nonsense. I think a lot more people are aware nowadays, but just be hyper aware, not just of it coming from the other side, but also of those same things coming from people on your side, because it 100% is happening if you're not hyper aware to it.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Next, Jeff Tiedrick. Trump is guilty as F. Ha ha ha. Oops, I meant how terrible as guilty as F. Donald Trump. Now go to his profile so people know who he is and what his profile says.
Yeah, look at his face.
It says, don't blame me. I voted for the email lady. Okay, you know who he's talking about. So you know where he stands.
Yeah.
Next, Brian Krasenstein. The verdict is in. Guilty on all counts. Trump is officially convicted felon. You're either now planning to vote for convicted felon for president, or you're not. Stop pretending that the side that is not voting for the felon is a crazy one. If I ask any American in 2016 whether they would vote for convicted felon, 99.9% would have said, heck no. You changed, not the American justice system. Go to the next.
By the way, it was 100% the American justice system that changed. 1,000%. You know how much bad things U.S. presidents have done? And none of them have been convicted of felonies before? The things that Donald Trump was convicted for are nothing in comparison to some of the things that former U.S. presidents have done. Not even saying that they should be convicted or not, but I'm just saying the American justice system has changed. 100% it has. And the fact that there's a president and a regime that's in charge of the country right now that's weaponizing that justice system is it's really, really scary. It's a really, really scary spot for our country right now.
Next one, Rob. Brian Tyler Cohen, guilty. Go ahead. Let's see what Don Lemon has.
Creative.
What's Don Lemon's got, Rob? Breaking news, guilty on 34 counts. He is now a convicted felon. Notice the key words, convicted felon. That's the marketing. Lincoln Project. They have a clip if you want to play this clip. Is this the same clip, Rob? You just had the clip. Yeah, watch this clip from Lincoln Project. Obviously, these guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Donald Trump found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first
You're
degree.
a criminal, Donald.
This branding is coming. Pay attention.
Not the deep state, not the Democrats, not the Biden administration. A jury.
Why is this this is like a movie trailer or something? This is crazy, man. It's crazy times.
Regular people who saw the evidence and felt sick.
Oh, no.
You're a criminal, and you did it to yourself.
Nobody's ever seen anything like this. It's a shame.
Your defense was weak because you're weak. They had no argument because there is no argument. You were too scared to testify because you knew, Donald. You know. You're guilty. Guilty as sin.
There you go. So that's Lincoln
Guilty
Project.
as charged.
Well, the Lincoln Project.
How many of them were pedophiles? Or
The pedophile. One of them was registered for a Russian agent, and the other ones were cheating on his taxes.
Your friend Steve Schmidt, the United States of America has entered a constitutional crisis. There is no question that about this or the consequence of the fidelity we're about to see from the Republican elected officials to the convicted felon. Go to the next one.
Loser.
What is the solution? Somebody in the comments, let me know. How do you even come back from this? Even let's just say the best presidential candidate of all time. He's the perfect guy. He comes in, he does his absolute best to fix everything, uphold the Constitution, everything. The issue is still not going to go away because they only have a term limit of 8 years, and then there's going to be corrupt leftists. And, the whole time that guy's in office, the left is just going to come in and, try to impeach him, try to disparage his name, try to, I'll write all these smear campaigns, smear articles. It's the same cycle over and over again. And then the leftists, the Democrats going to win the next election and back to square one. Back to where we are now. So what even is the solution? Is there a possible solution, or are we just going to spiral until a civil war happens or something like that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Where do you think this is going?
Sure.
Biden immediately. There's only one way to keep Donald Trump out of Oval Office, at the ballot box. Donate to our campaign today. Go to the next one. No one in this country is above the law. This is the same guy that Rob said pulled the fire alarm. And so much to the website where people are reacting in a way. Rob, can you go to my last tweet just to kind of give my thoughts? And then I'm going to come to you guys to get some thoughts here. Here's what I think. This is exactly what my position is with this. It's two things, okay? Number one is expect two things. Number one, more businesses leaving New York. Just guess what? If you're a business owner in New York, here's the decision you have to make. For the rest of your life, you can never have conservative political aspirations, and you can't be a billionaire, you can't be aspirational, you can't be too loud, or else they're going to try to destroy your life. New York's about to have more business owners leave there. A lot of people I'm talking to who have stayed there asking. There's even people saying, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here, because if it's just a show, circus show, I'm staying. It's not a big deal. But if they go here, I have to leave because I may be risked 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Number two, polls reacting positively towards DJT's favor. Americans are not dumb. What the left hopes this will do will shockingly surprise them. Future looks bright, but at the same time, stay extremely paranoid. Tom, your thoughts on what happened today and what was announced?
Well, this all started with Alvin Bragg.
By the way, I don't know. Like, I appreciate the fact that Patrick Bet-David is one of the guys that's like, oh, the future looks bright and everything. But does it really look bright? Like, what looks bright about it? I know he likes to say that. I don't know if it's just a marketing tool, but I don't know. I hate to be like a doomer and somebody who's just going to say, the future doesn't look bright, but it just doesn't. Like this. And, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, Donald Trump got convicted. It's rigged. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. I don't really care that much, to be honest with you, who the president of the United States is. I don't care. It's fun to own the leftists. It's fun to laugh at them whenever Donald Trump wins and they have meltdowns and stuff. At the end of the day, my life's not really going to change all that much on a daily basis. On a zoomed out scale, yeah, it might change, if you just... Like the saying goes, like if you just change the trajectory of a ship just a little bit, well, if it travels for 1,000 miles, it's going to end up in a completely different place than where it's supposed to go. So of course, yeah, if we have this happen on a long enough time horizon, bad things will happen. But I'm not going to we only have like 100 years to live, if at best, right now, unless Elon Musk comes out with something that lets us live longer. So my life's not going to change that much based on who the president is, and neither is yours, if we're being honest. Maybe gas prices, grocery prices, immigration, stuff like that will change, but it's not going to change your daily life that much. And the way I think of it is like, I'm going to win regardless. I'm going to find a way to win regardless of who the president is. But does the future actually look bright? Because in my opinion, this is just another point on the scoreboard of the future looks pretty dark to me. Donald Trump being convicted. And this is kind of proof of concept for the American justice system being able to be weaponized by Joe Biden and by political opponents, And I just wonder if Donald Trump tried to do the same thing, would it work out in his favor like it did for Joe Biden and his regime? Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Patrick Bet-David's thoughts and this whole Donald Trump being convicted thing. Just an absolutely wild situation that our country is in right now. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole thing in the comments.